What's going on, everybody? We are going to waste absolutely no time. It's finally here. The Book of Boba Fett has arrived at about 3 o'clock this morning Eastern time. I know you texted me and Matt yesterday, like, you guys gonna stay up? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Got to work in the morning, but I did get up an hour early this morning, watched it before I went to work. Um, we are gonna dive into it completely, talk about everything that we loved, everything we hated. Don't think there's going to be much that we hated, to be honest. But first episode is titled Stranger in a Strange Land and directed by Robert Rodriguez, which I think we kind of all assumed was going to happen. You know, he seems to be the showrunner. It makes sense for him to direct the
Written
first
by
episode.
Favreau.
And written by Jon Favreau, which I was a little surprised by. I thought maybe he would have taken a step back for Book of Boba Fett, and I mean, still oversee the show, right? But take a step back in the writing to focus more on writing for Mando season 3. But it looks like this really is his story, like this Mando, Boba Fett, Ahsoka verse. Like this is his story, and he's gonna continue to write most, if not all, of the episodes. So, without further ado,
My first pushback on that would be: is he writing it, or is he writing Dave Filoni's treatments?
No, I think it's definitely him writing it. I think Ahsoka will be a little different. I think those will more than likely be that's all Dave Filoni writing it.
Every
Maybe
episode written and directed by Dave Filoni.
that would be
Colin cries on command.
that would be sick. But that's down the road. So let's focus specifically on this first episode of Book of Boba Fett. Colin, what did you think?
That was pretty lit, dude. That was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. I was not expecting a lot. Like last time I was on, mentioned that I was, not too hyped, needed to be sold on it. I don't really know where the story's going, but I'm also strangely satisfied with the backstory and lack of like, what are we doing here? Because I imagine the only, it was like the mayor sent a delegation, and that was like the only thing. But then the delegation came, and we kicked their ass. So, or was it? I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes, though.
Yeah. This episode really is kind of we got two stories going on at the same time, right? When we start off, Boba's in the back to tube, kind of healing up from his injuries, not only from the Sarlacc, I imagine, but also fighting with Mando. So he's in there just kind of chilling, relaxing, recouping, and he's having these dreams. He even tells Finnick like I'm having those dreams again, and he's dreaming about basically where we left off with him in Return of the Jedi, which is the Sarlacc, and we finally got it. Like after 40 years and wondering, did he
roll the Patton Oswalt clip? Roll the Patton Oswalt clip.
I mean, he's
give that man his money.
Yeah, he was pretty spot on. I mean, you open right up, and I mean, he's in there. Like you're very up close. Like you see him, like he can barely breathe because there's no oxygen. He's just covered in just guts and goo. And I mean, the way he escaped, he escapes very fast. I will say that. I thought maybe they spent a little more time
from the stormtrooper. Is one of the most clutch moves I've ever seen in a survival situation.
And I think a lot of us imagine that he would escape just by using his jetpack, and there's even concept art out there of him escaping that way. But it makes sense for him not to do that because Han Solo hits his jetpack, and that's what forces him to go in the Sarlacc in the first place. So his jetpack is broken at this point. So he uses his flamethrower to basically burn the Sarlacc and then just kind of digs his way out of the sand from there. I mean, it was super epic to see on screen, just him covered in mud, just exhausted, just beat up, and then the Sarlacc just kind of chilling in the background. Like we waited so long to see that image, and I'm glad they held on to it for a minute, but then we're just right into the rest of the episode. He passes out, and we see like we knew the Jawa would steal his armor, and then that's kind of where we go from there. But hello, Jesse. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here this afternoon. So yeah, they kind of continue on. He's passed out. The Tusken Raiders find him and take him prisoner, and they just kind of beat the shit out of him for a little while, and then eventually I mean,
one dude beats the shit out of him, and then everybody else joins in. Mm-hmm. Like that was very rough to watch. Like he has a rough going for that little while. It's like, okay, let me get my entire body picked off by these tiny ass Jawas that I could kill on any other given Sunday. I got you, but today you got me.
Yeah, and he finally has a chance to escape, and that stupid Rodian is a snitch and freaking
Oh,
Fist.
shout out to Kevin Durant's legs making an appearance as not only this Gamorrean scales, but also the six-legged beast at the end of the episode. One
Oh,
of my favorite ever in
I,
Star Wars. I've
we,
never been more terrified and amazed by a being in my life. When it lands on all four legs, I had a moment of like, oh, that's cool as shit. Like, oh no,
yeah.
you better run. Like you like for some reason I thought they had a chance if it could only run on two legs. And then it lands on four, and you're like, oh, there's no chance. But yes, back to him being
Yeah, basically he escapes the Sarlacc, and it's just one thing after
terrible.
another. He thinks he escapes, and then he gets brought back, and then just keeps getting the sheep beat out of him. He's walking in the desert. He's exhausted. He's had no water for days, I imagine. He's just having a rough go at it, and then Finnick wakes him up, and he's like, "Hey, boss, like they're here. We got to go." So he wakes up, puts his new arbor on, which I'm still obsessed with. I mean, I had to go get the pop. Like I'm
Oh,
so
that's
obsessed with the new armor, man. Like
badass.
it's my favorite. But anyway, he holds court. Boba's sitting on the throne, got Finnick right next to him, and they just start bringing in these people, basically showing their respect, offering him gifts. And I thought that was a really funny moment of him and Finnick, just like they don't know what they're doing, right? They just kind of found themselves in this situation now, and they're trying to do it right. But
It's just
um,
kid president. Seriously, like he's got the mind of a like I mean he's a very smart person, but like the dude is still Boba Fett. And to me, Boba Fett like has this very unique place in my Star Wars headcanon where I've spent a lot of time with young Boba because of those Boba Fett adventure books that came out when we were kids. And I'm like, yo, dude, you've done some stupid shit. And I see this coming through now. Like, you are very juvenile. Like, you are an ignorant person in the world. He has been led on directives and missions his entire life. He has never been in charge of his own destiny. He probably doesn't even know what the word destiny is or have any concept of it. And for this to be the most like this is like showing up in your Steve Kerr to the Golden State Warriors, and you have this whole roster of shit that you could do with it. And you're like, well, I've never coached before, but I'm just gonna figure it out on the fly. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna bring in this badass bitch who like Ning Na Wen is killing this. She's like, so you want me to kill him? Like that is classic. That is all time already, and we're like 7 minutes deep into the episode, or like maybe like 12 minutes deep into the episode at that point. And before we even get to that, I'm sorry, the Tony Stark modeled armor, like Iron Man's get up where he's got the robots putting on his
oh
belt,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
got
I love
the
that.
arms putting it on.
I love
I
that.
was like, look at them. That was sick. Like he is like he's like a really poor kid that gets really, really rich. It's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's what this show is. It's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but a crime syndicate. And he's just a poor little kid from Camino. And
Which we
now he's
see
the
that was
king of
that was
Mos
kind of a
Espa.
surprise.
He's the Fresh Prince of Mos Espa.
No, I agree with a lot of what you just said. The comparison to Fresh Prince might be a little much, but
Well, we'll
the
see where he gets to. Like, Will is a very evolved person by the end of
that
season 8.
that's
I
very
don't think
true.
we have 8 seasons to get Boba to
No,
have that
probably
sort of
not.
a
You can imagine like the series finale is Boba like sitting in Jabba's palace. It's completely empty, and he's just like staring, and then he just starts like little
Oh,
tears, and then
imagine Boba just
that's
slips
the
on
end.
the, Fresh Prince Air Jordans, and he's like, "Alright, let's go." Bum, ba-dum, and he just hops in the speeder, just, like, pulls
Right,
up the Luke speeder,
right.
he's like, "Yeah, I bought it off the dude that bought it from you. I'm a collector."
Anyway, so he's holding court, and him and Finnick, they don't know what they're doing. They need a protocol droid. They don't know what anybody's saying. And then my favorite character of the entire episode shows up, played by Matt Berry, I think was his name.
Is that who
Um,
that is?
I believe that's who it was. Yeah. And it just comes very much out of left field. And I saw a lot of people saying that he didn't feel Star Wars. I completely disagree. I kind of liked that aspect of it. He's just like, he's being so like disrespectful in the most polite way possible. And I just thought I found that very endearing for some reason. But he's basically like, Boba and Finnick are expecting him to like bow and show respect. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I'm here in the mayor's stead. The mayor's busy, but you guys owe us. We don't owe you guys anything. And if you think that otherwise, you're gonna have another thing coming, and then just kind of, gets on out of there. And,
Wait,
and
Matt
Boba's just like
Berry
so
is the
confused.
voice of UK2B.
Interesting. Hey, I'm not entirely sure who he was.
What's the name
I
of that
loved him.
character?
I don't even, he was the major domo of Mos
Okay,
Espa.
he's David Pasquisi.
Okay.
He's from he plays Andrew on Veep. That is I believe that's the guy who's married to the Veep, like her ex-husband. Like,
Okay.
whole show.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a very strange choice. I had a quick comparison. The guy that the blue guy from the
Max
first
Rebo?
episode of Mando.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That yeah. No,
Very
I totally
not
get that.
probably. I think the difference is these characters come in and they, I'm going to say this politely, uh, they have a whiff of Clone Wars to them.
Hmm.
Like I smell a little bit of Cartoon Network in my show that has the potential to feel like, I wouldn't say HBO, but let's say FX. Like some of the he disintegrated a dude in the middle of the episode.
Oh
All
yeah,
right, so
that
he
was
straight up
amazing.
disintegrates a guy, straight up murders him. So there's that, and then there's this dude coming in with not the best Twi'lek get up I've seen on someone. He's kind of got like hollow tubes. They're kind of skinny tubes. They're not the thickest Twi'lek tubes I've seen. I was like, I kind of felt that. I get what people are saying about it. It might stem from something of not quite what I was expecting.
And I think the reason for that is because in the original Star Wars and even the prequels, anytime we saw an alien, they either weren't speaking basic or they had like a really thick accent of some kind.
And
Like
he's a white guy.
Yeah, these people are literally white people just dressed as Star Wars characters speaking, like they normally would. And it is a little bit off-putting at first, but it doesn't bother me anymore because that's just going to be a continued thing. They can't all speak an alien language. Like you have to have people speaking basic, every once in a while. And for this scene, I think it made sense. I just really liked him. Like again, I loved how he was just super duper disrespectful in the most polite way possible, and that was a really cool choice. And I cannot wait to see him in later episodes down the road. But core ends, and again, Boba and Finnick don't really know what they're doing. They go into town, just kind of scout the area, see what's going on. But they plan on going to this bar, which is later called like the Sanctuary, and it's thriving. Right, people are drinking, gambling, dancing, having fun. Max Rebo's still getting good work out there in the galaxy.
Bro, he's
that
still
made me really
getting
happy.
paid.
Yeah.
That's quality, okay? That's people want your business, or that's where they always played, and they sort of came to Jabba sometime.
No, see the way I see it, I see Max Rebo is like an independent artist now. Like he was signed to Jabba, and then once Jabba got
Yeah,
killed,
but he's still working at
became
Jabba's
independent.
places. So he just like travel. So he knows he's got it within Jabba's like the casting directors for all of these bars that are like, I
Right.
gotta fill up my time sheet, my time slots. And Max Rebo's like, okay. And he plans out his whole year. He's like, I know it takes me this long to travel from Mos Espa to Mos Eisley, and I could probably get there then, maybe a couple parsecs I could shave off here, get from here to here. It really is just inspiring stuff for small business owners out there to see Max Rebo continuing to thrive in such a down universe. Obviously, the economy's down right now in the galaxy far, far away. There's no like, I'm sure Bitcoin's thriving, and like decentralized banking is probably crushing it right now. The Trade Federation is losing its mind. This is what we
And
give people, folks. We give you content.
and I imagine Max Rebo probably has 15, 16 hits that everyone knows throughout the galaxy, and he just plays
Oh,
those
move
on
over,
repeat.
Spidey Bells.
And that's why he keeps getting these gigs, is because everyone wants to go see Max Rebo play the hits. Like, he's not going to be playing a new album. Like, no one wants a new Max
Play
Rebo
the
album.
Cantina
Play the hit.
theme. Play the Cantina theme.
Like, once Jedi Rock starts playing, people just lose their mind. Like, yes. Like, that was worth the price of admission right there. Was
And
to see
then not
Jedi
only
Rocks
do you
live.
get to see Max Rebo at this facility, we will breeze past the amazing looking Twi'leks we saw in this facility to focus on the amount of money this place puts into Boba and Fennec's helmets. Like, can we shine your helmets, aka give you all of the monies? All of were they going to give them money beforehand? I'm not sure.
See, that's what makes this scene very, very interesting. And I mean, all of this sequence on Mos Espa, when they get attacked and when Fennec parkours Assassin's Creed to chase people, which I loved. But beginning when they walk into this bar, right? And this lady, Twi'lek, shows up, played by Jessica Biel, I believe. And she's basically welcoming them, saying, like, this place is yours. Anything you need, we got you. I don't know how honest she's being there, because the way I see it, especially after the interaction with the Major Domo, it seems like Bib Fortuna was doing absolutely nothing. Like, he was just sitting there getting fat, not ruling, not doing his job. And then when Boba Fett comes in and takes him out, like, nothing in Mos Espa changes.
You
It
notice
seems
those
like
people
the
were
power
wearing
has
red,
shifted
right?
to others. Go ahead. What's up?
Those people were wearing red that attacked them.
Mm-hmm.
Crimson Dawn watch is on.
I'm at about a 77%
I'm at
that
85, baby.
we will see
It is on.
we will see Kira and Crimson Dawn at some point.
Last episode, Kira. They can't afford her, and though she's not working. Though I wouldn't need to work either if Game of Thrones just kept making new 4K Blu-ray boxes to keep giving me money. Like, she's probably doing fine.
Oh,
But
I'm
please
sure.
come back, because you were great and underused, and we want more of you.
No, I bet she's in this show in some capacity. Crimson Dawn is going to play a role because, again, seems to be about mob bosses. Boba Fett and Fennec are trying to figure it out. Seems like the power has already shifted on Tatooine, Mos Espa specifically, in Jabba's territory, and we see that. Like, we see that he gets attacked, like, in public, right, and makes he kind of embarrasses himself. Like, he gets taken out like pretty quickly. He has to send Fennec to go track him down, and then he's shipped back to his Bacta pod, where we pick up where we left off with the flashback. So Boba kind of got his ass kicked this entire episode. And for someone who's claiming to be the new crime lord of Mos Espa, of Tatooine, like, that's not a good look for you right away, to get publicly embarrassed like that.
It was just like, do you not know who you're messing with? I just really feel like the scouting reports for these guys was like, yeah, it's some dude in a helmet and some chick in a helmet, but you can see your eyes. You can't miss them. How about it's fucking Boba Fett? Send all the guys and burn them alive. Like, the Sarlacc couldn't kill this guy. Is there not, like, a rumor going around that this dude was swallowed by the Sarlacc, especially on Tatooine? And people should be like, there should be statues for this man. And instead, they're like, no, we think we can take you.
I mean, they did. They won, right? Like, Fennec was able to capture one guy alive.
They got their ass kicked. Because the Gamorrean guards came in and made those guys drop their shields. If they never drop their shields, it's over. Also, you have a jetpack, fly.
See, my argument against that, and I saw that on Twitter today, is that, like, if he jetpacks out of there, he leaves Fennec vulnerable.
No, he doesn't jetpack out of there. He just jetpacks up a little bit, disintegrates one with the same thing he disintegrated some other dude with, and then boom, Fennec breaks ranks.
Well, I think the point of that scene is to show that, again, kind of seems to be the theme of the episode, is that Boba and Fennec don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they've gotten themselves into. And
I did see him kick Din's ass, though, for like a good 2 minutes. Like, he kind of
did, and I mean, And I will say too, Boba Fett was in the back to tube when this episode started, so maybe he's not 100% healed up yet. Like he's still got his injuries, whether it be from the from the Sarlacc or his adventures with Din. Like he hasn't had a moment
He's a
since he escaped
glorified
the
pilot when
Sarlacc
he
to
was hanging
just
out with
like
Din.
chill out and relax and heal. He hasn't had a moment, and so he's taking advantage of it now. And then as soon as he's starting to heal up, Fennec's like knocking on the door, like, "We got to go, boss. They're here." So he's not at 100% yet. And so maybe once he gets to 100%, he'll start, kicking some ass like we expect him to.
It's a lot of sunburn, bro.
He's looking good, like compared to the way he looked in Mando. Like he's looking pretty good,
Dude, that skin is looking like you get some work. He's like, yeah,
right?
it's called a Bacta tank. Don't tell the white women in Beverly Hills about it, but they'll go out of stock real
It's
quick.
actually this is kind of a segue, and I won't stay there for too long, I promise. But I just finished the second High Republic novel, and part of the High Republic is Bacta is something that they grow. Like it's a new thing that they discovered on like some backwater planet. Like they're growing Bacta, and they're just now learning of its like medicinal properties and trying to figure out how to turn it into something useful. And
And
I
the
just think that's
Republicans are saying it's a gateway drug and shouldn't use it. And then the Democrats are like, yeah, we should legalize it. Yeah, let's do it.
right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
The
I mean,
Trade Federation's like, hold on, hold on, hold on. We can make a lot of money off of this shit. And the Republic's like, well, we could just heal everybody.
but no, it is interesting seeing the early stages of Bacta in the High Republic and how it's just now being discovered. And now fast forward to, I guess, modern day Star Wars and Boba Fett's chilling
Yeah,
in
but
the
that's
Bacta
still not
tank trying to
something like
heal.
everybody has, which is
Yeah,
kind of wild. Like,
yeah.
we've only ever seen 3 characters now in
I
a
mean, we've
Bacta
seen
tank.
Luke was in it, Darth
Luke,
Vader, and
Vader, Boba Fett.
now Boba Fett. Yeah,
That's
I
only
can't
3
imagine.
Bacta tanks that I've
I,
seen. One of them was owned by the Empire, one of them was owned by the Rebel Alliance, and the other one was owned by the Crime
I mean,
Syndicate.
I
So,
can't imagine, setting up a Bacta tank in your house is very inexpensive, right? You probably have to call like a 1-800 number. They have to come out to your house and make sure it'll fit, make sure you have the
yo,
correct
imagine
outlets.
Geek Squad rolls up in the transporter, and they show up, and they're like, and I don't speak that. Hold on, protocol droid, protocol droid. Like,
Like,
big
shit, I
deal.
don't have one. Crap.
What? Shit. Damn it. Luke took it. And then 5 minutes later, the stormtroopers come up. Bam! Everyone's dead. The new Bacta tank, dead. Uncle Owen was so close. Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, Boba has to go back to the Bacta tank. He's like, he's got to recover, and then he goes back to his dreams. And I wonder if it seems to be the way they're telling the backstories is through his dream sequences in the Bacta tank. So is he going to be spending a lot of time in the Bacta tank throughout this series? I mean,
I would say it's going to stop at a certain point.
you would think so.
I don't see it going further than episode 3 and 4 maybe, and then or maybe 3, and then we don't get any in 4, and then 5 he gets hurt again, and then he has a final flashback where he talks to Django or some shit. Like, whoa, this is crazy.
If we had a Django appearance and a flashback,
No, we need a Rex appearance. That's the next watch. Rex watch, because we have to link something together. This cannot go unnoticed.
I mean,
Fennec Shan has a thing for like
for Rex.
sad orphan clones. Okay, so Fennec Shan is just gonna go around, and I'm pretty sure there's some Kaminoans out there. You're like, she's on this secret contract, bro. I'm telling you, she's on this secret contract still from when she was like, protect Omega at all costs. I'm like, okay. And now she found Boba, protect Alpha at all costs. And now she's still with them. Like, all right, I gotta protect this shit because this is the last line of the Jango Fett line. If they ever want to turn this around, Is Finnick in this for the money? Is she still in this for the money? And would she sell Boba Fett to some cloners at a moment's notice?
I don't think so, but I mean, you never know with Star Wars, man. You never know. But that you bring up a good point of whether or not Boba Fett could potentially run into another clone in the series, and the only one that I think we could see, if not Rex, is Kix, because we know Kix towards the end of the Clone Wars he gets frozen by the Separatists and then eventually wakes up. Right, he wakes up like 20 years later, and he's now working with the red guy from Force Awakens that Finn almost runs away with. He ends up working for that guy. So that would be the only one like that would be about the same age as Boba Fett in this show. But I don't think they'll bring in a deep cut like that into a big major show like this. But you never know. It would be cool to see him interact with another clone at this point in the Star Wars timeline. That would be kind of neat.
I just want anything like now. It's like Crimson Dawn watch is on. Cad Bane watch is in full effect in this house.
You wanna know what I'm thinking? And this could be totally stupid, but I think that the main Tusken Raider guy who at the end
Oh fuck
shows him
you!
some respect.
No way, bro! You just broke my brain.
You think? I think because at the beginning of the episode, when Boba's tied up, he sends people to go beat him up for like basically no reason.
For no
So
reason.
what if Cad Bane is just like, ha ha, I gotcha, kid.
Nah, see, here's where I don't
And
jive with that. Because I've had a really hard time today, having watched the episode 2.5 times, 3 times. I don't know what the Tusken Raiders look like, but I have a feeling they either are A, black as night, or B, white as day. Like, I'm talking the dude in Benchwarmers that does not come outside white, like, never walks outside. And that's why they have to wear the protective stuff, because you never see any of their skin. So there has to be something why you never see any of their faces. He's got big ass eyes, bro. He's got big eyes. I think those eyes would have been bulging. Like and like them pieces were down here. And his eyes were like huge. Maybe I was also trying to figure out like who else could it be? Who else could have like? And what does it take to be a Tusken Raider? What is like? I would love to have that conversation. Where is the Tusken Raider coming?
What if Tusken Raiders are not a race but are a creed?
Oh, I thought that too, because then part of me was like, what if they're all clones? And I don't know why I thought that, but I was like, wouldn't it be sick if all the Tusken Raiders were clones and it was like he takes their masks off and it's all, but that could be a nightmare too. That'd be a great scene.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be pretty sick. Yo, Dave Filoni, I got a great idea for a scene. I just don't get who these people are.
Well, I mean, I bet there are all kinds of races that are Tusken Raiders. Like there could be a Rhodian Tusken Raider. That there could be.
You think so, bro?
Human Tusken Raiders, and they're just that's what they wear to protect themselves from the sun. Kind of like in Dune, right? Like in Dune, the people who live on Arrakis, like they have these suits and these breathers that help them protect themselves from the sand, from the sun. Because they've lived there the whole life. Like they're the only people who can survive that. Tusken Raiders seem like to live out in the desert where there's absolutely nothing. They're the only ones that can survive that. And it's because they wear these, super layered cloaks. And
it's either die or dig for water balls, which we should talk about.
Yeah, we need to get
there. Is that what Luke was doing his whole life?
I think
Did they have machines that were doing that?
I think that's what is implied. Yeah, like
that's
moisture farming
fucking bonkers.
Farming these water balls.
Like George Lucas has to be like, well,
that's not what I was
really what I was thinking when I came up with it, but I guess like Uncle Owen, I got 20 water balls today. Like, what the fuck? And then the poor dude who's clearly a moisture evaporator. Like that's how they knew where to dig. I think that's the important part that's implied is that they go to the moisture evaporator farm because that dude lives there and then they see the same group, I think, that was messing with Cobb Vanth in last season.
Maybe we know they're bad guys, and we're probably going
Well,
to see them
it was
again at
their
some point.
headgear, and they look like the dudes from Mad Max, so I just assumed
Mhm.
they were all the same. And they rode the same speeders, I think, too. But yeah, that guy lived at he was a moisture evaporator farmer. And so
Mhm.
then they were like, well, let's just go out to where this guy hasn't dug, which then implied me to tweet the did not realize Boba Fett was going to Camp Green Lake
I
tweet.
love that. That made me so
And
happy.
I was in heaven. I was like, well, look at the what race is that dude?
Which guy?
The Gamoidian? No,
The
the
Rodian?
Gamorreans
Oh,
are the green guys. What's the little fish dude? The little
that's a Rodian.
a Rhodian.
A Rodian, yeah.
Little Rhodian was friggin' zero from holes, bro. Every time he dug, he was coming up with something.
Right,
And
and
Boba Fett's
Boba's
over
like,
here
"Dude,
like
really?"
caveman. He can't get a single thing. But then lo and behold, poor Rhodian finds arguably the coolest monster I've ever seen in Star Wars.
Yeah, that was very unexpected because I thought it was gonna be another crate dragon. Like, that was my first thought. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna see another crate dragon. Maybe it's a baby crate
Oh, well, they
dragon."
would have died
Um,
instantly.
but no, it's
Instant
this
death.
some Goro guy from Mortal Kombat. I love the design. Like, I really, really love the design, and I love the end with the credits showing Doug Chain's his concept art. Like, I thought that was really, really cool. I love the design. I love the creature, and to no surprise, Boba Fett takes him out, no problem. And, and then the little kid, Tusken Raider, like marches into camp, like, look what I did, guys, I killed it. And everyone's like, yay, yay, good job, little youngling. And then Mr. Chief guy, gives Boba, a cup out of respect because he knows what actually happened. Like, he knows this little kid didn't just kill this six-legged monster thingy.
That was definitely that guy's kid too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Cad
100%.
Bane's son.
No, shut up, bro. And the person behind him, definitely that dude's wife. That dude's
Oh
wife
yeah.
beat the shit out
Oh
of him.
yeah, yeah. That was a great scene.
Definitely. Like
That
you
was a
could
great
tell
scene.
by the way they were standing. I was very heavily like I looks like a woman. Like definitely beat the shit out of him, which is even better.
Right.
And here's how you know something's good when Wikipedia doesn't have it yet.
Oh
If
wow. I mean,
Wikipedia does not have the name of this monster, nor does Star Wars Explained, you know we've come up with some good shit. And it was like, oh, we're just pulling from all the old stuff. Nah, they made something cool and original.
yeah, I really, really liked it. I like when Star Wars gets weird and different, and we see something we've never seen before. And I'm sure it'll have a name probably by the end of the day tomorrow. Like Pablo Hidalgo will reply to someone's tweet giving it a
Sand
name.
Centaur.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. And then there'll be a 3-page Wikipedia page about its origins, what
The
planet it's
history of
from.
the Sand Centaur. They dwell until they dwell for 800 years.
Like, he was just napping, and then freaking the Rhodian's just like, "Hey, look what I found!" And he's dead. He's dead.
Not just dead, bro. He ripped his head off. Like, that was brutal stuff. Like, that's what really kind of was like, okay, that's like very PG-13, very like pushing R-rated, and then you got my gratitude is my present for you, and I was like, oh, okay, okay, what are we doing here?
I mean, you bring up a good point. This episode was pretty violent, right? Like,
Very violent.
Boba Fett freaking obliterates a dude with his wrist rocket, and then the freaking Goro monster not only kills the poor little Rhodian snitch guy, and then he gets his head taken off. I mean, man, like,
Well, snitches get stitches, and that monster confirmed it.
that is correct. Snitches get. That's what the title of this episode should have been.
Snitches get stitches. I love it.
No, man, I really, really enjoyed this first episode of Book of Boba Fett. There's still so much to unpack. I mean, there's 9 episodes total, so 8 episodes more. And I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but freaking Twitter, man, like sometimes people are, it's like, this is the first episode. Like, they had to set a lot of things up here, and I
No,
understand.
there's no okay. I think that's expectations because like there's no, for lack of a better word, there's no Grogu.
No, I mean, sure, but I didn't want
But
there
there's
to
no
be
Grogu
something like
moment.
that.
There's no like, oh,
See,
like
and that's
what
what
if at the end
buzzed
of
me.
this episode it was like freaking Omega or something, and you were like, wow. Like,
that is what bugs me about Star Wars fans is they want every single Star Wars thing to be the season finale of Mandalorian season 2.
no,
They
I want
want
the
that
first
that
episode.
Luke
I want the
Skywalker, oh
first
my
episode.
god, makes face melting moment. Like not every episode needs that.
But the first episode was, though. That's my point. And that's where their expectations came from. They were expecting something like they got at the end of episode 1 of Mando, season 1,
Mhm.
that they did not see coming.
Right.
And this kind of felt like Mando episode 2.5, where there was no like launching point.
Mhm.
There's no hypothesis of this show after episode 1 besides this guy doesn't know how to do his job. Let's see if he can figure out how to do his job while he manages these dreams.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. Like we still don't know what this show is going to be about, right? And we didn't know what Mandalorian was going to be about until Grogu showed up. It's
It
like,
had 8
oh, okay,
episodes
this is
season
what
1.
they're doing. Yeah, season 1 of
Okay, so we
Mando
got
had
1
8
more
episodes.
episode. I'll give you 1 more episode, all right? And then if you don't have a hypothesis at the end of episode 2, I'm cracking skulls.
I'm done watching it. I quit. But no, it
No, I
brings up
wouldn't stop watching it. I would just send angry tweets.
no, yeah, of course. But no, it leaves Boba in really interesting place in both timelines, right? Like we got him in modern. He's back in the back to recovering. He's like, I don't know what I just got myself into, but me and Finnick need to figure it out. And then in the flashbacks, he's finally got the respect of the Tusken Raiders, and it seems to me like maybe they're going to bring him in as one of their own. They realize he's very strong and he could be an asset, and they're going to teach him in their ways, and then see where that
possible
goes.
Lady Tusken Raider person did have the weapon that he ends up with when we see him in Mando,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was definitely that specific weapon.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. And we see, obviously, he's a very good fighter in general, but he must be taught the way of the gaffy stick because, man, does he know how to use that when we see him in Mando.
How many? I would want an episode and a half more, only to find out in episode 3 that all of these Tusken Raiders died because he couldn't save them or he was doing something else. And then he takes on, like, he's the last Tusken Raider, and he's the Tusken Raider. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, and part of the reason
it's going to be very strange to see, like, what does he become through this besides alive?
Mm-hmm. And we know based off the trailers that he eventually finds himself at Tashi Station. Like he shows up at Tashi Station. We know that's going to happen. We know eventually he and Finnick have to find his ship right before they go meet up with Mando, right? So we know we have an idea of what's coming in the next couple of episodes, but I am hoping that we wrap up the flashback story relatively soon so we can spend all of our time on the present day Boba and him and Finnick's adventures trying to figure out this whole crime lord thing because that story is a lot more interesting to me personally. We got the Sarlacc out of the way. It was very fast, but been waiting 40 years to see it. We finally saw it. Again, the stuff with the Tusken Raiders is cool, but I want to see that get resolved and let's go
Do
catch
we have
up with
any
Boba and
indication
Finnick.
Mandalorian, does he have any lines of how long he was in there?
No. I mean, we know that Mandalorian takes place 5-ish years after Return of the Jedi. So we know there's a 5-year window between Boba escaping the Sarlacc and meeting up with Mando to try to help save Grogu. That we're looking at 5 years here. Well, actually, we see Boba show
And
up.
I would assume he hadn't been in there too long because the Jawas wouldn't double back over wreckage that they had already gone over.
No, I think that's fair. Like he probably wasn't in there maybe a couple hours. Otherwise, he probably would have died. So he got out of there pretty quickly. And we know that he eventually finds Finnick. I missed that. When we think Finnick dies, the mysterious person shows up. That ends up being Boba Fett. So that's what we're looking at. So about 5-ish years. I don't know if he spends all of that time with the Tusken Raiders or what his plan is, why he doesn't escape Tatooine faster. Remains to be seen. But maybe we'll get that story. And I
had a moment where he's sitting there talking to the Rodian, and he's like, I can get us to Anchorage. And he's like, I'm a very important person. People know me. Like, they know me as a very nice guy who's done good things for people, and we can get anywhere we need to, not someone who would need to threaten every single person we came across to get what we needed.
Yeah, and it seems like Boba Fett really has had a change of heart since escaping the Sarlacc. I feel like the pre-Sarlacc Boba would have just let the Rodian just like freaking die, right? He wouldn't offer to cut his bonds. Like, but new
Oh,
Boba has had,
no.
a new outlook on life and he's gonna help people. But I don't
Well, I'm really excited for the action in this show. It really makes me happy. I've liked the just a little bit of battle scenes we got with them in the little, dirt road to everyone in Mos Espa. But the way they shot that creature battle sequence with the sand centaur was like, okay. There and he does the Princess Leia too, which was a really nice touch.
know. No, that was a really cool scene, and we got a lot of trailer footage in this first episode. So I'm glad that we're quickly, getting through all the stuff we saw in the trailer. So that way, I imagine the last probably 6 episodes is going to be all brand new stuff that we haven't seen. So that makes me happy. I'm trying not to watch trailers anymore. Like that new Batman trailer came out a couple days ago. I'm not watching it. 2 trailers is plenty for me. I don't want to be spoiled, even little itty bitty tiny things. Like I don't want to see that in the trailer. Like I want to be surprised when I see the movie or I see the show. In this case, I haven't watched any of the new TV spots, any of the new previews, anything for Book of Boba Fett.
There's
Like
like a new one every fucking day.
the thing about Star Wars is that they don't start promoting their content until about 3 months out. And then every single day there's a new preview. Every single day there's a new TV spot. Like it never.
Dude, I mean, honestly, it's giving me wings for like what I do for a living. They're like, wow, you guys are really getting a lot of usage out of the same footage. Like,
Yeah.
and you guys are like the cream of the crop of content, so I shouldn't feel bad about it. Like, geez, guys.
Right. But anyway, any final thoughts on the episode? I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it and cannot wait for next week.
You got let's figure out a rating system for this. I give this 7. I would give this 8 helmets full of coins.
You
out of
totally
10.
stole mine. You totally stole mine, man. You jerk. Yeah, I'm gonna give it 9 helmets full of gold coins out of 10 for sure.
Fantastic.
Like, my only one itty bitty tiny nitpick is that maybe there wasn't a good enough balance between the flashbacks and the present day. Like we spent way more time with the flashbacks. So I'm hoping we find a little bit more of a balance. But again, that's a nitpick.
And it's not like Breaking Bad flashbacks either. I think that's really what's going to piss people off. People in today's world are used to Lost and Breaking Bad, where every time somebody shows you something, that thing's going to mean something in the next 20 minutes. Like, and that really wasn't the case. Like, you're just seeing what's happened to him while you're also seeing what's happening to him in the current day. It's not like they're interchanging or there was anything that happened in the past. It was just very, just very like, here's story A, here's story B. Let's edit this together, put a fade in there. That whatever effect they did when he gets,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Really
I don't know what that was supposed to like
was
convey. Is
What
that him like slowly the dreaming becoming more and more
It's like
real
when
to
somebody
him?
like dissolves or like takes like a real piece of film and then they mess with
Yeah,
it. Like you
yeah.
can slice it or you can do whatever to make the juice come out and fuck up the frame. It was really weird. It
Yeah,
was like
it's
they added like a coloration thing that lasted like just long enough where I was like, "Are
mhm.
you doing something here?"
I mean, I watched it like when I first woke up. Like my alarm went off. I went and washed my eyes and then started the show. So at first I thought, man, like, is there like more eye boogers I didn't get rid of? Like because
No,
it
you're
was so
good.
like unclear. I was like, no, wait, that's the show, and that's Robert Rodriguez for you. He's kind of made a name for himself for doing things kind of out of the ordinary. But
That
it
would have
didn't
been cool
bother
if it
me
was
that
all
much.
in black and white like Sin City.
Dude, what if we got an all black and white episode of the show?
We
Just
did.
like
It's called It's called Star Wars Visions, and
that we
I
yeah
like it,
okay
and that's all you're gonna get.
yes. Man, I really love Visions. I wanna go back to Visions at some point once maybe Book of Boba Fett is over.
Oh, true story. I haven't finished it.
You
I'm like,
haven't finished
oh no,
Visions?
dude, I'm milking that thing. Like, oh no,
You of all people.
I know.
Huh. Interesting.
I've had a weird thing where I have nothing to watch in my anime life that like besides like shows that are like coming out right now. And the shows that I know once I finish, they're done. I'm having a really hard time closing them. Like I'm on the final season of one, and it's probably got like 7 episodes left that I could finish in the next 3 hours. But I stopped like 2 months ago because I was like, I'm not ready to emotionally close myself off from this. And I think it's the same thing. I know the back half of those episodes are like a bit more emotionally structured than the first 4. I think I've gotten 4 through 4 of them. I think.
Okay. Yeah, that is very surprising. Like, 'cause
I
that
know.
show came out
Was the
forever ago.
the
But
hot take
I
of the
do
day.
want to go back and rewatch it at some point. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this review slash discussion of the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Again, that episode was titled Stranger in a Strange Land, and it was directed by Robert Rodriguez. I cannot wait for next week. We will more than likely be doing these reviews after the show airs on Wednesdays. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Matt should be with us on most of those, but he's out doing something tonight, probably getting drunk somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. He's at a birthday party. So shout out to Matt. We miss you. We'll probably see you next week. There probably will not be a show Saturday unless there's some like face melting breaking news that we must talk about. Saturday is
So
New
good
Year's.
for us and this show. My Wednesdays, as of right now, at this time, according to my calendar, which is integrated with every game I have to work, says Wednesdays are free until February.
Hell
So
yeah.
if we just want to tentatively say that you can expect Saber Reels on Wednesday nights, recapping all the Book of Boba Fett's after we've all had a day of Twitterness to soak it all in and watch it, and then come back here and break it all down and come up with whatever debauchery comes out of it.
And we'll have a new rating system every single
Every
episode
single episode.
based on what we see in the episode. So for episode 1, it was helmets full of gold coins. Have to wait till
It
next
could
week
have
to
been
see.
how many crushed Rhodian skulls was also up
That
there in
that
my
that
head.
could have been an option too. Yeah, for sure.
And how many severed space centaur heads? That's another one.
There you go. Anyway.
It's like the egg. What's up with you people? All right, end on this. What's up with you people? He brings in the thing. They bring the egg to the Jawas. And there's like the Oompa Loompas with the cocoa bean. Oh, it's like you guys gotta get off these people in these indigenous populations and their obsessions with these like idols and shit. It's really bad. It's a bad look. It's kind of racist. Oh, be better.
And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Toby Barkwell. That is Colin Morris. And we will hopefully see you guys next week for the review of Chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your support. Check out all the other great content we have on this channel. And we will see you next week. May the Force be with you always.
Rest in peace.